I saw Spain yesterday, and I watched the catastrophe that took place. It looks like an invasion of a country by hundreds of thousands of people, and that same thing's going to happen to us if the Republicans don't get elected, except worse, much bigger, much easier to get into, despite the fact that we have built thousands of miles of wall, which I said we were going to do, but we didn't have that. Forget it. But we have the safest border in the world. If we're not in office, our country will be invaded at levels that made Spain look small town.
Trump just won America. What happened when thousands of people migrated across a border, arrive at the country's border in just a matter of days? Could the US ever face a similar situation? President Donald Trump has said that it's exactly what would happen if Democrats return to power. Speaking about the recent migration crisis in Spain, North American territory in Qatar, Trump calls it a catastrophe and argued the US would face something even worse under Democratic leadership. But is Spain really a warning for America, or is the comparison more complicated than it appears first? Today, we'll examine the fact behind Trump's comments, the immigration policies of recent US administrations, and why the debate over border security has become one of the defining political issues of our time. Yeah, immigration has shaped America for centuries, yet few issues divide Americans today as much as illegal immigration and border enforcement. Supporters of stricter border policies argue that every sovereign nation has the right and the obligation to control who enters its territory. Others argue that immigration must also consider humanitarian responsibility and international obligations towards asylum seekers. So, are you trying to say that people that were ushered, that were literally going away from their countries, that just flooded a border and pushed their way through the border, should just be given asylum? And looking at this from an international obligation aspect, the debate intensified after a major migrant surge into Spain's enclave of Qatar, prompting Trump to warn that the United States could face an even larger crisis if border enforcement weakened. So, what did Trump mean? Trump described Spain's recent migration surge as evidence of what could happen when government lose control of its borders. He criticized Spain's immigration approach and said similar scenes could occur in the United States under Democratic leadership. Spain, however, disputes that characterization. Spanish officials argue the surge was driven by smuggling networks, misinformation, and complex regional factors, not simply by government policy. Yeah, there have been videos of Moroccans who said that they were told that once they swam across the sea to the Qatar aspect of Spain, part of Spain or Spain border, that they will be accepted. But the truth is that it was not so. And some were crying that they've not eaten for days. I think there were lots of misinformation that led a lot of them to just want to cross to Europe. Like it's just dawned on them that, oh, once I cross to Europe, I'm free, I'm safe, I can pick money on the streets. But they realized that it was not true. So another video was where um what's it called? I also saw one that was talking about the fact that that they were not accepted and they were asked to go back home, and there are lots of persons that have actually gone back, right? But now let's look at immigration under Obama and Biden. Immigration was also a major issue during the administrations of um, President Barack Obama and Joe Biden. During Obama's presidency, millions of people were deported, earning him criticism from some immigrant rights group, while others argued his administration also expanded legal protections such as DACA. Under President Biden, border encounters reached historically high level during parts of his administrations, leading Republicans to argue that US policies encourage more irregular migration. We can actually see that during Kamala Harris, what is it called, political campaign when he said that she's going to open all the borders and allow everybody to come in. No, she's actually also a migrant from India, and then I understand the fact that she want to favor her cause, but at the same time they're trying to protect those borders because a lot of illegal migrants are taking opportunity of the asylum, international laws and obligations, humanitarian activities to actually pollute the land and will not do the right thing, right? So she talked about allowing the borders to be so free that anybody can enter, and that was one striking point against her campaign. Okay, now Democrats encountered that migration pressure were driven by violence, economic hardship, and instability in several countries, and the Congress failed to pass broader immigration reforms. As with many political issues, the interpretation depends on which policies and data are emphasized, right? Trump's immigration agenda. Let's look at Trump's immigration agenda. Since returning to office, President Trump has pursued a much stricter immigration strategy. Among the measures widely reported, these are some of the things he has tightened. He has declared a national emergency at the southern border. He has also expanded deportation efforts. He has resumed border barrier construction. He has also ended and restricted several humanitarian parole programs. And he has tightened asylum procedure. You know, in asylum, a lot of persons just leave their country and they want to seek refuge in the United States. For example, a lot of persons that went for FIFA in Canada had actually been seeking for asylum in Canada, especially from African countries like Nigeria, Ghana, and the rest, right? So he has actually tightened the asylum procedures and increased cooperation with immigration enforcement agencies. Also, they are applying stricter scrutiny to some visa categories and immigration processes. Right now, if you want to reapply for your visa, if it has expired and you don't have a green card yet, you've got to go back to your country and then apply for the visa, right? Just to ensure that your country gives you the go ahead to still go back to the United States. Okay, so supporters argue that these policies discourage illegal immigration and reinforce the rule of law. Of course, critics argue some measures are too sweeping, having humanitarian consequences and facing legal challenges. This disagreement remains central to the US politics. Now, can America become like Spain? Let's look at this issue. Trump's comparison was intended as a political warning. Whether it is an accurate comparison was debated and is debated. Spain migration situation involves a land border with Morocco through Ceuta and Melilla, unique territories located in North Africa. That's one interesting thing about the fact that these people are called illegal migrants. The Ceuta and Melilla are actually African, geographically located in Africa, but controlled politically and legally by Spain. So they're literally also in their own land, like right? But then politically it belongs to Spain. The United States primarily manages migration across its southern border with Mexico under different legal and geographical circumstances. Even so, both countries face common questions. How secure should borders be? How should asylum claim be handled? Because a lot of people that want to leave their country always come under the gate of asylum, and they sometimes become a headache to the country, right? What balance should exist between compassion and enforcement? How can government reduce illegal immigration while maintaining legal pathways? These are difficult policies and political questions that extend far beyond one country. Now, Donald Trump believes Spain offers a warning about what could happen when border security weakens. His supporters agree that strong enforcement is essential to national security and sovereignty. His critics argue that the comparison oversimplifies two very different migration situation and overlooks broader economic and humanitarian factors. Whichever way you hold it, one thing is clear. Immigration will remain one of the defining political issues in both the United States and Europe for years to come. Now it is your turn. Do you think strong border enforcement should be top priority for every country, or should humanitarian obligations carry equal weight? Share your thoughts in the comments and keep the discussions respectful. And if you enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more videos on global politics, history, and current affairs. Until next time, thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.